Hi friends! Today for Fiction Friday, we're starting a new chapter in Lad, a Dog by Albert Payson Terhune. Last chapter, Lad's little puppy Wolf broke through frozen ice and fell in the lake. Lad rescued him, of course, but that had to be super scary. I almost fell in our pool once. Daddy was pulling the cover off for the season, and I slipped between the bars of the gate and trotted right into the middle of the cover. It started to sink and swirl around me, but Daddy rescued me before I could be plunged into the freezing water. So I know exactly how Wolf felt when he needed to be rescued. Today, we're following Lad on his journey entering a dog show. How exciting! Let's dive right in, okay? As always, the link to the ebook is in the description below. Chapter 5, Part 1, For a Bit of Ribbon. Lad had never been in a city or in a crowd. To him, the universe was bound by the soft green mountains that hemmed in the valley and the lake. The place stood on the lake's edge, its meadows running back to the forest. There were few houses nearer than the mile-distant village. It was an ideal home for such a dog as Lad, even as Lad was an ideal dog for such a home. A guest started all the trouble, a guest who spent a weekend at the place and who loved dogs far better than he understood them. He made much of Lad, being loud-voiced in his admiration of the stately collie. Lad endured the caresses when he could not politely elude them. "Say," announced the guest just before he departed, "if I had a dog like Lad, I'd show him. At the big show at Madison Square, you know. It's booked for next month. Why not take a chance and exhibit him there? Think what it would mean to you people to have a Westminster blue ribbon the big dog had won. Why, you'd be proud as punch." It was a careless speech, and well meant. No harm might have come from it, had not the master the next day chanced upon an advance notice of the dog show in his morning paper. He read the press agent's quarter-column proclamation. Then he remembered what the guest had said. The mistress was called into consultation, and it was she, as ever, who cast the deciding vote. "Lad is twice as beautiful as any collie we ever saw at the show," she declared, "and not one of them is half as wise or good or human as he is. And a blue ribbon is the greatest honor a dog can have, I suppose. It would be something to remember." After which the master wrote a letter to a friend who kept a show kennel of Airedales. He received this answer: "I don't pretend to know anything professionally about collies, Airedales being my specialty, but Lad is a beauty, as I remember him, and his pedigree shows a bunch of old-time champions. I'd risk it if I were you. If you are in doubt and don't want to plunge, why not just enter him for the novice class? That is a class for dogs who have never been shown. It will cost you $5 to enter him for a single class like that. And in the novice, he won't be up against any champions or other dogs that have already won prizes. That will make it easier. It isn't a grueling competition like the Open or even the Limit. If he wins as a novice, you can enter him another time in something more important. I'm enclosing an application blank for you to fill out and send with your entrance fee to the secretary. You'll find his address at the bottom of the blank. I'm showing 4 of my Airedales there, so we'll be neighbors." Thus encouraged, the master filled in the blank and sent him a check. And in due time word was returned to him that Sunnybank Lad was formally entered for the novice class at the Westminster Kennel Club annual show at Madison Square Garden. By this time, both the mistress and the master were infected with the most virulent type of the show germ. They talked of little else than the forthcoming event. They read all the dog show literature they could lay their hands on. As for Lad, he was mercifully ignorant of what was in store for him. The mistress had an inkling of his fated ordeal when she read the Kennel Club rule that no dog could be taken from the garden, except at stated times, from the moment the show should begin at 10 a.m. Wednesday morning until the hour of its close at 10 o'clock Saturday night, for 12 hours a day. For 4 consecutive days, every entrant must be there. By paying a forfeit fee, dog owners might take their pets to some nearby hotel or stable for the remainder of the night and early morning. a permission which, for obvious reasons, would not affect most dogs. "But Lad's never been away from home a night in his life," exclaimed the mistress in dismay. "He'll be horribly lonely there, all that while, especially at night." By this time, with the mysterious foreknowledge of the best type of thoroughbred collie, Lad began to be aware that something unusual had crept into the atmosphere of the place. It made him restless, but he did not associate it with himself, until the mistress took to giving him daily baths and brushings. Always she had brushed him once a day, to keep his shaggy coat fluffy and burnished, and the lake had supplied him with baths that had made him as clean as any human. But never had he undergone such searching massage with comb and brush as was now his portion. Never had he known such soap-infested scrubbings as were now his daily fate for the week preceding the show. As a result of these ministrations, his wavy fur was like spun silk in texture, and it stood out all over him like the hair of a Circassian beauty in a dime museum. The white chest and forepaws were like snow, and his sides and broad back and mighty shoulders shone like dark bronze. He was magnificent, but he was miserable. He knew well enough now that he was in some way the center of all this unwanted stern excitement which pervaded the place. He loathed change of any sort, a thoroughbred collie being ever an ultra-conservative. This particular change seemed to threaten his peace. Also, it kept his skin scraped with combs and his hair redolent of nasty-smelling soaps. To humans, there was no odor at all in the naphtha soap with which the mistress lathered the dog, and every visible atom of it was washed away at once with warm water. But a human sense of smell, compared with the best type of collies, is as a purblind puppy's power in sight in comparison to a hawk's. "I know just how Lad feels, friends. I hate baths, even if Mommy and Daddy are there to take care of me. I don't like being wet at all. I'm also not the biggest fan of brushings, even if Mommy is super gentle with the brush. All I want is to steal the brush away from her and hide it. But when all the grooming fuss is done, I sure look and feel and smell pretty. I'm sure Lad does too, so it was probably worth all of the effort. Maybe. Well, that's all for today, friends. Be sure to join me on Monday for a special Music Monday song, and then again on Wednesday for our next Chinese zodiac animal in our Wiki Wednesday series. And then on Friday, we'll see what happens next to Lad. Thanks for hanging out with me today.